Good morning, folks. Jack Spirko here at the homestead. Going to be gone for a week, heading to Permaculture Voices 2, or 3 actually, and I'll be speaking there. But I wanted to give you guys a little bit of a homestead update before I leave. We've got good caretakers here, so you hear the ducks are angry with me. They want to come out, but not my job today, guys. You got to wait for your folks that are taking care of you. They're about an hour from coming out anyway because there's a lot more eggs left to be laid. But we've got a lot we've accomplished. I did a quick video here on planting trees, but we put in quite a few trees right in this spot here. This was all over this last weekend. This little pear here we put in, that apple. Put in 4 satsumas in this area. A couple other apples, some plums. It's a Bruce plum we put in. I think this is a satsuma, or a Santa Rosa plum. That little scraggly one there is a Honeycrisp apple. This guy here is a Blenheim apricot. All that was just added. It's going to be a real nice, dense, small footprint food forest to show people what you can do. This whole area is about 15 feet by 60 feet. So it's not a big area. You can see that red globe peach really has come into full bloom. Take you through the, I know the sun's probably pretty harsh, but I'll get shade for you here in a second. It's certainly harsh on me. Over to the little urban garden area. We actually put quite a few trees in here. And I went through and you see all this dirt. That's actually compost. So we just dressed everything that we planted and that was already here with. Put some seed mix down, watered it in. That's an Arkansas black apple we just put in. This tree's been here. All these trees have been here. But I ended up down here at the end, kind of this open space, but kind of crowded even with intensive backyard nursery culture to put another tree here. So we popped the autumn olive in there. We've gone in with a shrub layer and I have just a ton of Hanson's bush cherries. They're really hard to see on the camera, but there's the tag. Little whips. And there's about, I think total in here I put in 25 of them. So those all went in. Knocked a little Honeycrisp apple in right there. Back here we put in some new stuff as well. This is cherry, a Lapin's cherry. That tree right there is a tree I call it, because tag fell off it while we had it in our nursery. This guy here, another little Blenheim apricot. So we found Blenheim is one of the later blooming apricots. We've had a lot of problems with apricots blooming too early. Dorset golden apple, that just went in. So we added all of that. And we're also around the little garden pond here. Popped in some more trees. Red globe peach. This is a apple. I don't remember what kind though. This is an heirloom apple, very old variety. So Wixon crab. That is an old variety right there. A plum. This is an almond that was already here. Popped in 2 more trees there. Quail are being tractored through this area right now. And these are hard to see on camera, but whenever you see a black spot, it's a black locust. So I planted black locusts about every 3 feet along the backside of this swale. And then if we come over here, so I don't remember how many that was, but it was a lot. I think I put in almost 100 black locust trees through the fence here. But right along this swale, I did the same thing. We'll grow these straight, like polewood basically, along there. And we'll probably remove some of them over time. But the other thing I did is I popped one in next to every one of these fence posts, because these are future fence posts here, these black locusts. And when I get back, I'll probably put one on both sides, so if one dies, I still have one everywhere. So that'll replace those cinder blocks, and they can be repurposed for other temporary fencing. That'll take a couple of years. But we also planted a bunch of stuff down there in the main food forest, but I'm not going to show you that today. You get the idea. It's pretty much the same stuff we've planted, because I got other things to show you. And I gotta roll, man. I've got Charlie, you coming? Come on, buddy. I gotta get on a plane here in about an hour. So, well, not really. I gotta get out of here in about an hour to get on a plane in a few hours. And there's some other stuff that's gone on that I haven't updated you guys on. And I really wanted to, like the quail aviary. We made a ton of progress on that. And we also found out that last year when my queen bees bred, they bred with local bees, and my hives are pretty hot now, so we're going to be... The good news, though, is they're really, really banging, man. They have populations high. We're going to be moving the bees to a different part of the property and requeening them, and we're going to be able to split 2 hives into 6 this spring, because that hive right there is just going insane with bees. But Jason, my bee mentor, was out here, opened up the hive, man, and those bees were angry. They were pretty upset with us several hundred yards away for over an hour after the hives were closed. So it's time to requeen. You don't need mean bees around. So queens are getting squished, new queens getting installed. We got hardware cloth 100% on the aviary now. It goes all the way into the ground. It's buried against the rock shelf. First time that rock shelf was really useful for something. We have to get plumbing into it as soon as we can when I get back. But you can see I went through, and after my students came through, we just kind of put the hardware cloth on with hog rings just to hold it in place. You can see where it's kind of bowing there. I have to go and tighten it all up at all seams, all the way around, get the doors on. But this is like priority number 1 when I get back, to get these quail out of those cages and into this aviary. And that's giving time for all of this beautiful cover crop mix to start coming up and establishing as well. Take you down by the pond, show you where the bees' new homes are going to be, and show you some work we did down there. We put some more trees in, and we've got kind of a little bit of a radical plan to deal with, not letting the ducks in the pond too often. But I think it's a rather good one. And I think it's going to make actually working on this orchard we plant here a lot easier. Instead of excluding them, we're going to let them be part of that. And we're going to spend almost no money to do this, just time. But I'll need a second to get the gate open. And then I'll explain kind of where we're going from here. So this area was fenced in. This was like goat holding area. And as you can see, it's really come alive. That's daikon radish, that's mustard, there's vetch, there's all kinds of stuff in there. Because the ducks have been excluded for almost a year. There's irrigation in there. We put in a bunch of apple trees. I'd say 70% survived a very harsh summer. And what we're gonna do, instead of keeping this the way it is, we're gonna open this whole thing up to this lower paddock down here and go from 3 paddock system to a 4 paddock system for the ducks. And they're just gonna spend less time in here. It'll make sense how we're gonna do that in a second, but just kind of, it'll be much easier for us to work on that if this is all wide open. What we're gonna do is take this fence and pull it out and straighten it out. So there's the pond, got a floating island in. I'm gonna have to do some of the fountain. Fountains keep getting clogged up here, so I got it shut off. But the fountains get clogged up with the bentonite clay. But that's just a start. So it's 3-inch pipe, 5 foot by 5 foot fountain, a little bit longer because of the tees on one direction. Got some mint floating in there. We'll fill that whole thing up with floating plants when we get back. Right here, along this berm, the pond weeps into this berm. So we planted fruit trees along here that we'll cultivate backyard orchard style. They'll never be bigger than just over head height. No, I'm not worried about roots getting in there. Remember, it's rock down there. That is a lined hole in rock is all that is. It's like a pool. Don't think of it like a typical impoundment, but it does weep back up in. But what we're going to do, again, we'll take that whole fence right here, and we'll come across about right here. So that fence will go just like this. Bang, right to that, maybe that fence post right there. That'll give them this is a paddock. And then this smaller area down here, including that area in there, is a paddock. And what we'll be able to do then is put them on a 10-day rotation cycle with 2 days here. So there'll be 10 days, 10 days, 10 days, 2 days, 10 days, 10 days, 10 days, 2 days. That means that every 30-day period, they'll only be in that pond 2 days. Is that the exact rotation we're going to use? No, we'll have to judge the land, judge the water, judge everything. But that'll keep them from turning my pond into a cesspool. Bees are going to go over in that area, way to the other side of the property. That property's been abandoned since the 80s. We're not worried about anybody moving in. We're going to be putting in, again, 6 hives, a top bar, a Ware top bar, and 4 more Langstroths, so we have more to train the students with. But everything's looking good. I'm pretty excited about this area. You guys know what this used to look like. Now, the best part of all about my plan, when we move this fence this way, there's a gate right there. It's hard to see in the sun, but right on the side of that building, there's a gate that opens up into that area. So all I'll have to do to let the ducks access this paddock is just open that gate. So I'll have 4 gates, 4 paddocks, 1 central system. And who knows, maybe we'll give them more like a 3-day period down here. It all depends. Or maybe we'll do 10 and 1, 10 and 1, 10 and 1 and give them 3 days. I don't know. We'll have to work that out, but I'll catch up with you when I get back from California. In fact, stay tuned to the YouTube channel. I'll be publishing a lot of stuff from Permaculture Voices 3.